Okay, so I have a minute before I have to go to work, and I finished the videos about the principles of natural law, so I'm gonna start with the elements of spirit. Just see how it sounds. Just ignore the fact that I have a whole different face on now. This is my work mask. Anyway, the elements of spirit. From a purely Western perspective, there has always been this image painted of the Elysian fields with streets of gold and mansions filled with riches that floods the mind each time the word heaven is uttered. Pastors and priests use it as a reward system to keep parishioners in check, like it's some finish line we're all trying to cross. They first sell you the idea of heaven, and then they sell you your ticket. You may not be buying, of course, so then they introduce the idea of hell as the only alternative. And you can't exactly dispute this fact without having died, so this is usually an effective scare tactic. But Mystery Science revisits the concept of heaven and looks for clarity. Being the forgotten middle child in history, it's our job to shake things up. First, let us consider that science, as far back as written word has kept record of such things, has referred to the solar system and all of its bodies as the heavens. Then let us note that the Holy Bible, the source of reference for the majority of people who want to speak of such things from a non-scientific point of view, so you got science and then you got the Bible, which is like supposed to be equal opposites. Anyway, then you have the Bible says that the first thing God created was the heavens. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay, this correlates. The Book of Jubilees, which was taken out of canon by the Catholic Church, often called Little Genesis because it elaborates a lot on the shit that Genesis left out, elaborates and describes heavenly beings, like the angels or whatnot, as being part of this creation event. And Enoch broke it down even further when he said that heaven is the first element. He said this in the Corpus Hermetica explains this. Okay, so Mystery Science comes into play when one searches for a proper description of the elusive components of such a creation. What is heaven? What are these people talking about heaven? What, the heavens? Now there's more than one heaven? Okay, let's back up. What is this? Define heavens. If you're going to talk to me about heavens, explain to me what heavens is. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Scientific method. If the heavens is plural, then there must be more than one. If the heavens is an element, then it's not a place, rather a kind of energy or matter. If the heavens includes life forms, then it must offer some form of intelligence, yes? Well, now we're thinking like scientists. Okay, so the fact that we're thinking at all is better than accepting just what people tell us. So what does Mystery Science say about the heavens? Well, logically, if the heavens is not singular, holds multiple life forms, and is some sort of energetic formation, Mystery Science calls that spirit, or more formally, Akasa. If Akasa was the first creation, a belief which Mystery Science endorses, it must be the most important and the most versatile. Mystery Science teaches that Akasa, or spirit, is the live energy that is within and connecting all things. Live energy, in general. Boom. Spirit. Akasa. God and man, the fool, Akasa. And also that spirit separates itself into the four elements of all creation: fire, water, air, and earth. Anytime in a creation process where there is separation, the purpose is to delegate these immense powers and balance the energies to promote growth. This is why procreation requires bodies separated by gender. Each body harnesses its own delegated power, and then when the energies connect in union and balance, growth is possible. So as we're going over the elements of spirit, the elements of Akasa, the first creation, the heavens. So we decided it's not a place, it's not limited to only heavenly bodies or bodies at all. It is spirit itself, which doesn't limit itself to any form, because spirit could take whatever form it wants. But there has to be forms for spirit to choose from, right? Boom. So anyway, the first element of spirit is fire. Just that's how that works. Firstborn son. Firstborn of Akasa is fire. He is the firstborn son. Fire is light. Fire is represented by the triangle, the strongest of the simple shapes. This element is ruled by the sun and literally represents the spirit, as he is the heir to the whole of the wealth of spirit. In scientific terms, fire is electric energy with a positive charge. In psychological terms, fire is the ego, born of balance, but cocky and spoiled and selfish. Fire is will, desire, action, drive. Although it is a masculine energy, fire does have its feminine traits. All energies do have both feminine and masculine traits balancing each other out. Lest it should fall out of balance. One example is its burning or calcination effect, whereas heat production would be an example of its masculine energy. Fire is light, but not light as you can see it. More importantly, light as you can feel it. That blood pumping, heart beating out of your chest, flight or fight adrenaline rush. You know, that's a good way to describe the energy of fire. Fire is passion and survival and intensity and power and strength and movement. As firstborn son of a spirit, fire holds all the other elements within it. Let me come back to the physical dimension and use the chemical explanation to elaborate. Modern chemistry tells us that for a fire to exist, there must be 4 elements present. Heat, well, that's your fire element. Fuel, well, that's your water element. An oxidizing agent, well, there goes your air. And a chemical reaction, well, that's your earth. Well said, chemistry. Moving on. The fire element is dominant on the Atziluth realm. The Atziluth realm, we're talking Kabbalah, we're talking, ancient Jewish mysticism, which breaks the dimensions into realms. So there's 3, 3, 3, and 1. That's the tree of life, Kabbalah. We'll get into that. It's a whole lot. But anyway, the Atziluth realm is the highest realm of being. This is like, you got ultimate source, the very top, and then directly as soon as spirit separates itself from ultimate source, it's in the Atziluth realm. And it's going to encounter its first interaction with separation. And these are the closest to spiritual realms. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one step from being back at source. So anyway, fire is dominant on that plane, in that realm, the highest and most spiritual realm of being. This is home to the divine and monadic planes of existence. This is past the Buddha. You can't meditate yourself into these planes. I mean, maybe Buddha could. I definitely have not made it that far. Be nice though, right? This is where fire was born. This is where fire grows and learns. As explained in the Kabbalistic tree of life, this is where fire, or spirit, first separated itself from God, or divine unity, and then separated itself again by gender into Chokmah and Bina, which is will and understanding. So you have Kether at the top of the tree, which is at the root of the tree, which is in the Atziluth realm, closest separate. Like when spirit separated itself from God, essentially, it jumped down into Kether, which means crown, which is the very top of, the very beginning, the first step. So then, as one unified hermaphrodite energy with both male and female energies within it, it separated itself into 2 energies, dividing them into gender categories, like all things must in this universe. So by separating it into genders, you now have understanding, which is the feminine aspect, the sacred feminine, which is Bina. And then you have Chokmah, which is wisdom and will, which is the masculine energy of divine energies. So the divine energy that separated itself from God started at Kether, which is individuality in general. Once you have individuality in general, you separate it into genders, which gives you the negative and the positive aspect of individuality, which is understanding and knowledge, or understanding and wisdom, or understanding and will, or emotion and free will, essentially. Now you have individuality and you have wisdom or will or free will, like the ability to utilize your independence however you choose, and then understanding, which gives you the slow down thought process before making a choice. And with the 3, you have balance, you know, but the 2 were born from the 1, you know, so we'll get into that. But anyway, those are the 3 energies dominant in the absolute realm, and those are the energies that go into the fire. Those are the energies the fire is made of. Spirit is made of these energies: will, understanding, and a complete and utter independence from source, but still always a piece of the source. Like you know, like you figure out where you came from, you figure out what you are in this realm. As you go down the tree of life, you get further from this, and things get more gross, more dense, you know, your vibration is lower as you progress from here. You're making your way down into physicality. And you start with fire, because the spirit is what's born first. The spirit is developed before anything else. And once the spirit is created, it creates the soul to balance it out. Like it's a simultaneous split of atoms. Like, you know, the sperm hits the egg, and then all of a sudden, instantly, there's a split. And then there's another split. And then there's another split. And everything that splits off becomes its own thing, appendage, organ, whatever. But they all came from the same source. And that source was 2 sources of energy put together in balance. That's how all things work. That's how your spirit was born. That's how your body was born. That's how everything is born. Everything happens. This is the cause. This is how that is caused. So anyway, fire. Shokma and Bina, 2 perfect polarized opposites, worthy of a direct interaction with pure spirit. The cardinal direction associated with fire is south. In the Western zodiac, fire signs are the strategic Aries, the leader Leo, and the ever-captivating but rarely captivated Sagittarius. These are strong-willed people with passion and ambition, as well as a short temper and strong focus. You know, fire signs are unstoppable. And the only thing that changes a fire sign is their free will, because their will is so strong. Their will is so strong. You can fight with them, you can argue with them and yell at them all day long, but they will only change at their behest. It has to be a conscious decision that they have made. And that should be the rule for everything, but like fire especially. Fire does not care about your feelings. Fire will not spare your feelings. They will tell you exactly as it is. They'll tell you exactly what they know to be true, and you cannot convince them otherwise. That's just what that is. And that's good. It's good that that exists, because it's fun. It's a nice challenge. My Xena, she's, at the time, she's 9. She's a Sagittarius, and she's strong-willed, and she knows who she is, and she knows what she's not, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care about your opinion. She doesn't care if she doesn't brush her hair for 3 days. She doesn't care. She's who she is, and she's cool. She's cool as shit. And she's wild, and she's a free spirit. And I always tell people that. She's a free spirit. You can't control her. It would be a travesty to even try. And I'm so proud of that. Like, I did that. I made that. That came out of me. Okay, so... right. In the tarot, fire is represented by the suit of wands, or scepters, or the suit of clubs in the playing deck. A wand or a scepter is a tool of will. The power is not within the wand, but the will of the wand holder. The wand only directs and focuses this energy. Biologically, fire is the electrical fluids of the body, the blood, the nerve signals, the sperm, the active energy fluids. On the cross cipher of the Tetragrammaton, which we'll get into later, fire is the yod, or the hand, the very top. Yod. Yod is fire. Fire is spirit. Spirit is raw will and freedom of choice. Boom. So anything that would be dominated by fire would be dominated by will. Knowing this, it helps you to polarize them, you know. you can't spank a fire sign into submission. It will just promote rebellion because their will is stronger than your abuse. You have to get them on an emotional level and change their mind or change their heart. You change their heart, they change their own mind. That's how that works. So if you want her to do something, you have to tell her the importance of it. You have to make an emotional connection with it. Like, it's important that you learn how to do your chores. It's important because you're not always going to have somebody there to do them for you. You're going to need to know how to do this yourself. This is important for your survival. Your basic needs, your basic survival revolve around you knowing how to care for yourself. And this is a very large part of that. So, you know, it sounds like I just don't want to do the dishes and I'm just going to make you do the dishes. But really, I'm not always going to be there to do the dishes. So you're going to learn how to do this now so that when you get in a situation where you have to know how to do it, you're already prepared. And that makes more sense to her. Okay, cool. I need to learn how to do this so I know how to do this on my own. I get it. It's important for me to be self-sufficient. I like to be self-sufficient. I would like to learn how to do this. But then once she feels like she's learned it, she's like, okay, I can stop doing this now. No, it's a work in progress. You know, you don't just have to know how to do it. You got to be good at it and good enough to teach others. But she's learning. She's amazing. She learns. She can just watch you do something and then instantly know how to do it. And she has to practice to get good at it, but she'll do it. And if it's her will, it will be done. Best believe she'll get sneaky if she has to, but her will be done. That's for damn sure. Okay, the chakras associated with fire are the Manipura, which is your solar plexus chakra of will. It's the yellow chakra. And because fire is light, the chakras that are controlled by or ruled by light energies are also in the dominion of fire. So that gives you the Vishuddha, which is your creativity and your communication, the Ajna, your third eye, and then the Sahasrara, which is your divine unity antenna, essentially. The less material you get, the more spiritual or fiery you become. That's how that's explained. So, you know, a fiery spirit is one that is obviously not limited by earthly matter and has gone beyond the realm of emotion that sort of drowns you. But we'll get into water next.